I recently went through a quite serious medical circumstance. I was diagnosed with colon cancer. Uh, Sounds worse than it probably was. I had a tumor, relatively large one, I guess, in the ascending area of the colon. Being stubborn and reluctant to trust traditional medicine and all these typical methods and patterns that people would take under a circumstance such as that. I waited a long, long time. I had a stomach ache for over a year, literally. And I'm like, maybe I drank too much coffee. Maybe I should eat different, whatever. And I just was ignoring it to the point that I wasn't doing anything about it. Let's put it that way. So, as it turned out, just one night, went into incredible pain on the right side, and the next morning I took myself over to the emergency room. It was unbearable, and that's when they said, "Well, you got colon cancer." And people ask me, "Well, what was your reaction?" I didn't really have a reaction. It's just fact. That's all it is. It's just a fact. Okay, thank you. At least we got to this point. It didn't affect me in any way like I suppose it would most normal people. I've been a spiritualist my whole life. I know what's up with the end, the beginning, the middle. So it's not a worrisome situation. It's just, well, what's going on? Let me know what I'm up to here. I just want to say that medical miracles absolutely happen. And when you're not a traditionalist, or at least a plugged into the matrix, grid like thinker, and you're sensitive to spirit, sensitive to signals, symbols, messages, signs, like I am, you tend to take a different approach than would be normal under the circumstances. And so it was. And without getting into too lengthy of a discussion about it or a talk about it, several things happened right up in the beginning, right in the startup, that changed the way the whole thing came out. And I just couldn't help but recognize these subtle but very obvious interventions, divine interventions. Uh, the most incredible one was after I had come out of the emergency room, was diagnosed with the cancer. They gave me an appointment with a oncologist. After I saw that oncologist, and they began to lay out what some of the options were, I got back to my bus, and I was sitting in the bus by myself, talking with myself, and basically was at this point in the whole thing. I'm like, Hobo, just how much do you want to work on this? How much do you want to try to survive? Because there's so many ways you can go. If somebody tells you, you got cancer, there's a million ways you might want to approach that or deal with it. And I just resolved right then and there at that time. I wasn't going to become frustrated. I wasn't going to become um, aggressive. I wasn't going to go nuts trying to figure out every solution, every remedy, and try this and try that, and listen to this one, and listen to that one. I said, no, I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that. I said, as always, I just said, this thing will be what it's going to be in my life, and we'll see where it leads me. I was told when I was in the emergency room on the second visit before the oncologist, I was told by another doctor, he says, it's not as cut and dry as it looks on this paper with you. He said, it's like an atypical cancer here, he goes, and it may not be what you don't think everybody thinks it is. And he said, if I was you, he said, I would, with your insurances and everything, I would, and I don't try to have insurance, I ended up with it from retiring or whatever, but you wouldn't believe how that fell into place. But anyway, he said, if I was you and I had your insurance, retired insurance, Social Security, all this, he goes, Medicare, whatnot, he goes, I would call up the City of Hope Cancer Center tomorrow and see if they would accept me and go into their clinic and begin there, he goes, because they're just amazing. They just are the top of the line, one of the top places in the country, in the United States. for treatment. And I said, well, thanks for the information. And I considered it when I was sitting in front of him. And then later on that night, I'm on my bus and I'm thinking, geez, just how far do I want to go? How much do I want to do this? Already things were happening that were showing me that there was providence was involved. You know, I just felt like there was something spiritual as well, obviously happening, and that I was being led and guided, and I wasn't alone. I just know I didn't knew that. I know that. It's not even a belief, and it's just from years of being in a relationship with this principle and this living principle the way I have. It's personal and it works with you subtly. Anyway, I'm sitting there after this doctor had said, I would go to City of Hope, and I said to myself, well, we'll look into that. I said I got a couple of tests already scheduled coming up here with this hospital and doctor where I am. Let's let those tests happen, and then once we have the results, then maybe I'll call up City of Hope, and they can take whatever tests were done so far, and they can take that and figure out if there's something they can do for me, right? And again, I'm not looking to try to save my life. I'm just looking at what's the next right action here. That's the deal. There was no like, oh, I got to save my life. It was never like that with me. It's like, what do I do next? Because I'm led. I'm always led by my feeling. My thought listens for it, and I don't react to shit. My feeling is subtle but sound and placid and peaceful and strong and enduring. So I just rest in that with my thought consciousness, which would, in some cases, some people would just go crazy over such a thing. But mine is not like that. Mine listens to feeling, and feeling is very peaceful and very strong and very sure. So that's how I was through this thing. But I'm sitting there going, well, how much you want to fight for this, Hobo? How far do you want to go in this protocol therapy to be better, correct, whatever, correct the issue? And I said, well, I may go to myself. I'm sitting there in the bus. I go, I may take that doctor's offer advice from the emergency room. He sat with me 10 minutes, gave me this advice, but it stuck with me. He seemed really, on the ball. And I said, I might contact City of Hope. I've heard of them before. And that would be about as far as I want to go with this. I'll go to City of Hope maybe, and let's see what they say, and all that. You wouldn't believe it. Right at that second, right then, I'm thinking this. I'm in my bus alone. And I'm going, maybe I'll take it as far as City of Hope. Guess who called my phone? City of Hope. I'm like, what? I never called them. I never talked to them. They didn't know me. I'm like, hello? Yeah, is this so-and-so? I go, yeah. Oh, this is City of Hope. You've been referred to us by Dr. Wong. And we just want to know, you want to come in and, seems like you have everything you need. We can look at you. I said, sure, make me an appointment. And I hung it up. I'm telling you, at the very exact second, I'm sitting there in contemplation with me as a duality, talking, communicating with myself, deciding on how far I'm going to go to fight this cancer, to be cured of it, let's put it that way. And I said, well, maybe I'll take it as far as the City of Hope. And the phone rang, and it's the City of Hope. This happens to me all the time. It might happen to you a lot, too. I just live on this stuff. And I just looked up and I go, yeah, so you guys want to fight this thing, huh? You guys want to try to fix this? What's up? You want me to go to City of Hope? We're going to get into this thing a little bit. Well, all right, I'm there. Fuck it. That's a sign. That's a damn sure sign. It's not my life. It's our life, Mother, Father, God, Mother, Father. It's not my life. It's our life. We're family. What do you want to do? You want me to go over there? Not to save me. Maybe you want me to go over there to save somebody. I don't know what. It's just next. Here I am, like 3-4 months later, cancer-free. And even when they had me scheduled for surgery, because they took that piece of the colon out that had the tumor in it, gone. And it's not anywhere else. So, they're like, you're clean, bro. Even that happened 3 weeks before it was supposed to. Everything got shifted. I was just watching how they said, okay, we're going to do it this way. Then they call me back, we'll see, we'll do it this way. And then I call them, all right. And it just, everything just ended up, it's like it was on, I had cancer, then it was off and it was over and I'm on my way. It's like weird, really weird. Because most people, have to deal with it for a long time afterward, or maybe they had some tumors removed, and they got cancer elsewhere, so they're going to go in for more therapy. That's not the case with me. They said to me, well, you ought to do chemo. I go, why? You told me I'm cancer free. They go, well, you are, but just in case. I go, I don't work that way. And that ain't how I work. So just because you think I should have chemo and you're telling me, it's like a double talk here. You say you don't have any cancer. We looked everywhere, all these tests, a lot of tests. You don't have any cancer. You're cancer free, but do chemo. And I'm like, no thanks. I said, we'll keep an eye on things with blood tests and whatever out in the future. But I just don't live that way. I don't have a fear that it'll come back. I don't have a fear that we're missing something. I don't have fear. If I need to know something about me, Mother, Father will let me know, just like it worked this time. And there's just so many parts of this that, they're just miraculous. I haven't said any of it. I said a couple things. But every inch of it was just, I kept watching the signs. I kept watching the symbols. I kept going with the feeling. And here I am out the other side within not that long of a time period, completely free of this problem, I'm picking up weight again. I'm gaining weight. I'm getting strength, color coming back, everything. And it was just, I hope to have the time someday to really talk it out, about how I went through it and what was going through my mind at the time, and how I would combat depressions or combat fears or combat doubts and confusions, and just lay those down quickly and stay connected to my peace, connected to home, connected to the heart, connected to faith, understanding that however this turns out, my life has always been one of destiny, and this will be destined. And I'll experience everything that I'm going to experience, and I'll use it wisely, and I'll use the experience to understand and see things and grow, and grow my own trust and patience. And in the end, it's like before there was an end, it was over. There are miracles, man. I'm telling you guys, there are so many miracles, but you kind of have to put yourself in a position for them to happen. It's a two-way kind of connect. My friend Bridge says, Hobo, most people don't wait the extra 5 minutes for a miracle to happen. I said, you're right. And it was just this calm, placid faith in life, and faith in Mother, Father, who I talk about out here all the time. I could have been a regular person, living a regular life, have insurances, have doctors, regular doctors, have a home, have a place. I have none of that. And I come out on the other side maybe better than most, because I am a spiritualist and I trust the process. And I gave up living this traditional bummer life that most people live, to explore and penetrate the mystery of existence itself. And even though it's never been a completely, totally easy ride, man, I tell you, I have been guided, guys. I really have. I accepted this journey wholeheartedly, and I began to live the walk, not just walk it. And years ago, Mother, Father joined me in a way that I knew forever no. So it's us on this walk, me and them and I, and you. Believe in miracles. Give them a chance to happen. The way you do that is, don't be so rational, logical, intellectual. Don't be so prone to fear and doubt and confusion. That'll cause you to make bad decisions. Decisions that seem logical, but in the end, they're not wise. Hobo walks a path like this, always, still am. And it leads me into trouble and out of it every single time. I never want for anything. I never really need anything. It seems like whenever I get into shit like this, I already have what I needed to get through it somehow. And I was talking about insurance. Just the fact that I ended up with the insurances I did is just crazy. Crazy. It's just crazy. Because all my life I never bought into any of that stuff or nothing. No doctors, you know. Of course, it was 50 years since I seen a doctor. I got them all laughing now, though. Hobo put the spin on them, put the magic on them. And they're like, what's up, man? I says, we're on a ride together. Let's do this.